Most beginners think Codex is just another AI chatbot that writes code, but it can actually open your project, understand your files, make changes, run commands, test its own work, and help you build complete application. In this video, I will give you a beginner-friendly walkthrough of Codex, show you exactly how to use it, and build something practical so you can see how it works from start to finish. I will start by saying if you don't have Codex on your computer, you can just go to Google and type Codex. So Codex is by OpenAI. So if you search Codex or just download Codex, download Codex for Windows. So if you have Windows, you have to download for Windows, but if you have it for Mac, you can download it for Mac. So here you will see, download for Mac, because it knew the computer I'm using, it will download it for Mac. But if you're using Windows, it will also pop up Windows for you. And if you're using another operating system, you can use that as well. And my understanding is for you to use Codex, you have to be on the ChatGPT Pro for you to use that. Well, once you download it and install it, this is what the interface should look like. And if you also have ChatGPT on your desktop, both of them is inside the same application. So right here you see Codex because I'm in Codex, but if you want to see ChatGPT, you click on this drop down and you see ChatGPT. Then you can do ChatGPT thing if you're chatting. But if you want to do more coding stuff, or well, it's much more than that. If you want to do coding stuff, you can use Codex. Or if you're looking to do something that requires the agent making decision and working for you or doing things, you could just use Codex for this. So I just want to explain a little bit, beginner friendly. I'm not going to talk too much all the things that you're going to do on here, but just to let you know a walkthrough of the interface of what it looks like. New chat here is where you start chatting, and I will say pull requests. Well, if you're into programming or about version controls, you can write codes and put those in version controls. Then you can do pull requests, you can do sites, you can schedule work, and also plugins. One cool thing here is project. You can create a project and organize your chats within the same project if they are all related. So if you have an app or application that you're managing, or you have a system you're managing, you can have all the chats related or all the session related to the application all in one project. So to create a project, you just click on this, it pops this up, you write the name of the project and things like that. If you have a repo that is living locally in your machine, you can also add here, and to add file, or you can add folder. So if you have a repo that you want to chat on that repo, you can click on there to open that repo. And you can also give it goals, just like code goals. You can do this, record a skill. So record a skill, well, let me walk you through everything step by step. Files and folders, this is where you connect it to a file to chat about things on that file, and same as a folder. If you have files that are all related to a project in a folder or a directory, you can use that. If you want to also attach Google Chrome, so it means if you're doing anything and you want Codex to go to Google Chrome and browse around and click things like that, you can do this. Work in a project. So if you created a project that you want to work in, and all the session and chat about a project or a system is all in one project, you can create or choose that project when you want to chat. Go here is if you want to create something, you already have a goal. Let's say I want to create a course, like I want to create the course materials. Those are goals. You can set that as a goal, and it's going to go through and make sure that it creates things, tests them, and at the end of the day, make sure that it tests it against the goal. And if the goal is achieved, I will talk about this goal maybe in another video. Plan mode is if you are starting to talk about a project and you don't really know what you want it to do yet. you put it in plan mode so that you say this is what I want, and it plans and shows you. If you approve, then it will start building. But if you already know what you want, you already have the plan, you can say, oh yeah, this is a plan, execute. But if you don't know yet, you're going to plan and you see the plan step by step. If there's something you want to change about that plan, that's the time to change those things before it starts executing anything. Record skill is another important thing. Well, most times, or these days, people are downloading skills, installing skills on their chat, even Codex or even Claude. But record skill is if you have something that you do every day on your computer and you don't know how to describe this to the LLM for it to know what the skill is, you can record, and once you click on record, it will watch you do the things, and once you're done doing it, it will record it as a skill, and you can start testing it out and be sure that it's performing what you want it to perform for that skill. Other things here is, plugins. You can, site, there's a browser. If you want to create a site, so if you want to create something visual that you want to see, this can also be an artifact. So if you're trying to meet up with someone and you want to design something quick for them, or design something quick that you want them to see, like prototyping, you can do that on site. For browser, this is it going to the browser, either Chrome or anywhere to show things, or it can also create something and show it to you on the browser, maybe localhost or more than that. There is also templates. You can connect it to other plugins. And here I see something called computer. So, well, this will be a topic for another day. But let's go back to the rest. If there is something you want to check in terms of usage, in terms of billing, if there is anything you want to check about your account, about your profile, you can go on here and see what the settings are, and you can start modifying that. But one thing I also want to point out here is something called usage and bill. You can see how much of it you're using every week, and if you're maxing out, you ask yourself, what are you doing why you're maxing out on the token. These are things you start looking at and see if you want to upgrade your plan, or if you want to remain in this same plan and restructure the way you use the tool. There are other things, personalization. If you wanted to have more information about you and how you do things, you can include that here. If you want to connect your plugins or see the plugins that you have and do some settings about that, this is where you do most of those things. And also here, like coding things, if you're doing connections to like another tool, if you deploy your apps in, for instance, Vassal, you can connect to Vassal, so it can log and check the logins, look at your application and see how they're performing. It can pull logs from those deployments and tell you about it. Environments here is, well, if you have different like dev environment, prod environment, and things like that. To say this again, Codex is an AI coding agent from OpenAI. The difference between ChatGPT chat and the Codex can inspect, it can edit, it can run tests, it can review code. Who can benefit more? Beginners, if you're vibe coding, developers, the DevOps engineers, and technical teams can really benefit from using Codex. Where you can use Codex. Codex is inside ChatGPT desktop app. There's also Codex CLI. If you want to use it on maybe VS Code, you can use the Codex CLI. There is the IDE extension. You can have that inside your VS Code. Well, I can show you that later, but I use more of the Cloud CLI, but for Codex CLI, you can have that, and you can also have the extension in your IDE, whether you're using anti-gravity or you're using VS Code. You can have that extension and chat with Codex through that. And if you want to use that, you have to log in, and it's using the same subscription that you have for you to chat. One other thing you can do here is to also change the model here. There are so many you can change here, and the effort, you can also change the effort. You can change the speed, and mind you, anything you change here will also affect the token that it will use to work on whatever is working for you. Another thing to also point out is here, change permission. So if it's doing something on a file, it's always asking for permission. I want to do this, I want to do that. You approve, then it's going to do it. But if you say, go ahead, just approve for me, this is the goal, this is what I want to do, just approve, do tests, and let me know when you're done, it can do that. You can also give full access, like do whatever you want to do. This could be dangerous unless you're really sure, like, well, you can never be sure when it's an agent, but how you work with people, and you could give them, please ask for permission before you do certain things, and they will ask you for permission. At some level of working with them, you could say, well, I trust you, you can make clear judgments, or you can likely judge the same way I would judge, then you can give them that kind of permission. But if not, please, I will say, ask for permission, and that you understand the changes it's trying to make before it does those changes. But well, I think that will be it for beginner friendly, or how to start using Codex if you want to use Codex. So if this video helped you understand Codex, don't just watch, open it and give it one real task today. Start with something small. Let it create a plan, review what the changes are, keep improving the results through conversation. Subscribe for more practical AI automation, DevOps, and software engineering tutorials. Join my school community. I'll put the link in the description of this video, and I'll see you again next time.